The Timberwolves pretty much just put it all on 17 black. After trading away Julius Randle for practically a bag of chips, and now trading away Naz Reid and a plethora of picks to rival the SGA trade, the Wolves obtain LaMelo in return to pair with Anthony Edwards. But with the big looming question that will stay with them till the season starts. Will this actually work? Anthony Edwards and LaMelo could make the kind of backcourt to become a historical level duo, but in doing so, the Timberwolves have left essentially no depth in the front court. Before the LaMelo trade even happened, there was already a massive trade that changed the Timberwolves landscape. Had the LaMelo trade not happened, I was prepared to make a video on it alone. Julius Randle gets traded back to New York, except just like KD, he goes to the wrong one. When looking at the trade details, it's apparent that Julius Randle just got salary dumped, trading him for merely a 33rd pick. Except, I don't think that was a good idea. I think this decision was largely made on two things that unfortunately control so much of the sports landscape nowadays: recency bias and the media landscape. In the last few games of the playoffs, he admittedly did not play great, scoring only 3 points in an elimination game and ended up having a negative 3.8 plus minus for the playoffs. As expected, this elimination game resulted in a massive media buzz about how Julius Randle was the problem and needed to be off the team, similar to the criticism that Fox received after the finals. As the sandstorm continued, the Timberwolves caved and traded him, despite the fact that in the previous year they made it to the conference finals with him averaging 21 points and a 4.2 plus minus, and he was an all-star the year prior to that as well. But before people comment, I understand the argument you'll make. That's last year compared to this year, and that's fair, especially as Julius Randle passes into the danger zone for athletes, reaching their 30s. Even with all of that though, the asking price was incredibly low, all things considered. If we rewind back, the Timberwolves traded away Karl-Anthony Towns to receive Randle and Donte DiVincenzo. Now, after these events, we can follow the trade tree down, and DiVincenzo is out until next year's All-Star game at the earliest. And all that's left is a 33rd second round pick. While Cat is, well... So before LaMelo even enters the conversation, Minnesota had already taken the Cat trade and essentially stripped it down to almost nothing, and backed themselves into a spot where the next move had to be big enough to justify everything that came before it. That takes us to the LaMelo trade. Again, it's one of those trades that, had it happened in a vacuum, it makes sense. But as you dive deeper, things unravel. Anthony Edwards needed another creator. As great as Ant is, you cannot go through an entire playoffs run where every late clock possession turns into just give Ant the ball. And so pairing him with another great guard seems like a great option. He can push the pace like Ant, space the floor like him, and make great passes. LaMelo's role then becomes to help take that pressure off of Ant and simply make his life easier. As for LaMelo, he also gets paired with a guard that can push the pace, take some pressure off of defense, someone to become the second person to pass to, and simply make his life easier. Wait a minute. And here we reach one of the issues. Who is really the main guard? This was the same issue that happened to the Hawks when trading DeJounte Murray, and I predicted that it would not work out for similar reasons. It is very difficult for teams to have 2 point guards on the floor at the same time. In terms of other great backcourts like Curry and Klay Thompson, one is clearly the secondary role and the shooting guard in situations like that. But in terms of things like LaMelo and Ant and Trey and DeJounte, whose role is who can become a real problem. Even outside of point guards, we've seen it on other teams. so much star power on one roster that people instantly go, it's over for the league on paper, but in practice, they struggle to define who's the real first option. Of course, LaMelo joined Ant's team, which would push it more towards Ant. But LaMelo could make the argument that he was brought in for a reason and should get the ball more. Again, hopefully this is ringing some bells. On top of all those issues, there's also the question of health. LaMelo has had a laundry list of injuries, especially to his ankles and legs. So there's a massive amount of people looking to see how many minutes in games he plays as his career progresses. With LaMelo's way of play being a player whose game is built on pace, rhythm, sudden movement, and confidence, it brings an even bigger risk to those injuries. To top it off, to get LaMelo, as stated earlier, they traded away Naz Reid and a mountain of picks, which gets rid of even more of the front court. With people like Wemby in the league, or even Cat on the team he was traded to, that leaves a lot of vulnerability on this team, especially if the person that you just traded for is again on the bench for health reasons. That's outside of the fact that the Timberwolves fan base also love Naz Reid in general, which I mentioned on my podcast in more detail. Now any drive through the paint relies solely on McDaniels and Rudy Gobert in order to stop. This puts the Timberwolves in the exact same problem the Spurs were in the playoffs with Wemby. When Gobert rests, it leaves teams open for runs. This is exactly what happened when Wemby sat on the Spurs. So at the end of the day, this could turn into an amazing trade, but that's if LaMelo settles into his role behind Ant, if LaMelo stays healthy, and if the front court loss isn't too insurmountable with what they had to give up. But that's a lot of ifs, before we even get to see what this duo is capable of. So it runs into the risk of being looked at in the same conversation as SGA to the Thunder if Charlotte uses its picks correctly. But what do you guys think? Will Ant-Man and the Wasp live up to the same hype that their amazing nickname has? Or will it end up being a general manager failure with both players leaving frustrated? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to continue the conversation, be sure to also join the Discord in the description for more basketball talk with people just like you, as well as community events that I will be holding in the server. Be sure to hype this video up on mobile if you enjoyed it, as it does help me out. And with all that said, these are the videos that YouTube recommends to you next, and I will see you all in the next one.